So a couple months ago, I was driving this lady from the airport to Calabasas. And Calabasas is where Kanye and his wife Kim live. So I asked her about that. And I said, what's it like living next to or close to Kim and Kanye? And what she said was, it's kind of sad, but they're moving to Chicago. And I said, why are they moving to Chicago? I thought all the show was filmed here in LA. That's what I thought. But no, they're moving to Chicago. And I figured out why this week. It's because Kanye is moving to Chicago to, I guess, join forces with Jim Brown to help the black community there. And I think that's wonderful. I don't know what exactly he's going to do, but I think he was at the White House talking to the president about what needs to be done. And there's three things out of all the things he said in the 15, 20-minute rant that he had. There are three things I thought was really interesting. And the most interesting he said was, first of all, is that he is bipolar. Now, I have a mother who is schizophrenic, and I met a couple of people who are struggling with bipolar, and sometimes they were very depressed, or other times they're very happy. I guess Kanye went to see the president when he's on the happy side of it. I don't know. But you know, health problems, health issue is a big thing, because even though we're living in the best of times, without a doubt, you know, the mental health problems has skyrocketed. I don't know why that is. Maybe we're just doing too good. Maybe suffering is part of a life that is necessary. Who knows? I have no idea, but people are suffering. And Kanye is suffering. And here in America, I think it happened in the 70s or in the 80s. I'm not exactly. I think it was in the 70s. We used to have mental health institutes or hospitals, but we closed them all down, and now they're roaming the streets. So a lot of them end up homeless. But as Kanye mentioned, a lot of them actually end up in prison system. And I think it's kind of sad. Now, what do we do about that? I don't know. But it is a conversation that really hasn't been forefront in our conversation as a country. Maybe it is something that we should get really serious about. Kanye West also talked about in Chicago. I didn't know this, but I guess that the police there has the right, by the law, I don't know how this can be, but by law, they have the right to just kind of harass you. Or I don't want to use the word harass, but pull you over and see who you are, and if you can, you know, I guess harass you. I didn't know that was, by law, it was permitted, because I don't think it's legal in California. But I think Kanye mentioned that he wants to stop that. I know he was there with Jim Brown, and hopefully they would do something wonderful, not just in Chicago, but for the whole black community in the United States of America. That's one thing I thought was really interesting that he talked about there. Another thing he talked about is the hydrogen fuel cells. I know Don Lemon and a couple other people made fun of him for talking about that, but it's the next thing, I believe. I have a friend of mine who drives a Honda that uses hydrogen fuel cells, and you know, from the exhaust, it's just water coming out of there, right? H2O. How cool is that? I don't know anything about hydrogen fuel cell, how it's made and stuff, but I'm sure it's got to be better than electric cars, because electricity, we still have to burn coal or something in order to get electricity. So I thought it is the next thing. In fact, I was over at to see my mechanic this week, and what he told me is that because it was really busy there, I told him, I said, well, you're keeping yourself really busy. It's cool. But what he said was that he knows that he only has maybe 15 years left of business, because when the hydrogen fuel cells get kicked in, a lot of the stuff they're doing at the as a mechanic, it's not going to be necessary anymore. So hydrogen fuel cells, that might be the next thing. All right. But a third thing, what he talked about, I think, well, maybe is the most important out of the things he talked about, is that, remember last week I made a video about how mothers are the greatest, okay? No, mothers are the greatest. They're the most important, definitely. But nobody does better than the fathers. Fathers are so necessary in life. And it's kind of sad that we, as, you know, people, the citizens of the world, especially in the United States, I think, where we believe that there's no difference between, a lot of people make you want to believe that there's no difference between male and female. And that Not much difference whether they have two-parent homes or one parent. It doesn't really matter that much. But there's a huge amount of difference. That was the whole point that I was trying to make last week. And to know that, the divorce rate is very high, a lot of broken homes, maybe that's one of the reasons why there's so much mental struggles in this country, in the world, because fathers are not seen as that important. And Kanye actually brought that up. He said he was brought up, and his parents got divorced when he was very young. And he's married into a family that is very estrogen oriented, a lot of estrogen power there. And he said he loves Trump because Trump has this male energy, right? Powerful male energy. That when he puts on the MAGA hat, Make America Great Again hat, he feels like a Superman. Now, I don't think he meant that he is Superman, and he kind of gave an example about how his business was struggling, but now he's doing great, all because his attitude changed. And I think that's a wonderful thing. I agree with them that kind of energy comes from the father figure. Now, I know God said that he will be the father of the fatherless, because even in the Bible, God understands the importance of father figures in life. And it is something that it's a gospel that needs to be spread throughout the nation. Fathers are very important. Let's not do anything to make a man feel less than what he ought to feel, which is very manly. And I thought it was really good that he mentioned that. It wasn't bad at all. Oh, and another thing about the MAGA hat, when he said, make America great again, he find it somewhat offensive to the black community because he was never really great in the past. So he wants to change it to make America great. And he was asking Donald Trump to change it to MAG instead of MAGA. I don't think Trump is going to do that. Right? But, hey, I won't wear a MAGA hat, but I will definitely wear MAG hat. Okay, I would. It would be interesting if there's going to be as much backlash with MAG hat rather than MAGA hat. I don't know. But what is more interesting is the response that Kanye is getting. There are the people on the right who loves him now. There's people on the left that hates him now, right? Of course, Don Lemon and CNN, how they responded was, I didn't like it. But I don't know why you expect anything different from CNN. There are people on the right who's making a really great deal out of Kanye. But I think what was more important is what he said, because it was so true. But out of all of them, there are two people that I thought that two people's response that I thought that was, that caught my eye. One of them, let's go with the one negative, is Michael Rappaport. Because I don't know that much about the guy, his personal life. I don't really care, but I always thought he was a good actor. He stars in a show called Atypical, which is one of my favorite shows on Netflix. I just finished the whole season 2 the other day, and he does a really good job as the father figure. Right? He has made his mistakes in the past, but he seems to be the person that plays, the character he plays is a good father figure, and I think it's wonderful. Right? And then he goes on this rant about Kanye that I thought was totally, I don't know, man. It just made me feel sad. I wish it wasn't him that said it, because I liked him as an actor. I love the show that he's on. Hopefully it won't affect me next season. But it's just the way he said it, all right? He could disagree, but I didn't like that. But one interview that I did like was Herschel Walker, right? Because, one of the greatest running back of all time. I remember one time he saved a woman from a burning car by ripping off the door from the car. So he's not just big, but he's strong. And in the interview that he was on, he said that when he was young, he used to get picked on as well. I guess he wasn't as big as he became, but he was picked on as a young person. And he was defending Trump. And he kind of mentioned that it wasn't that he defended Trump that got to me, but I didn't know, but that Herschel Walker also suffered from mental health, that he is bipolar as well. So he understands Kanye, and he was defending Kanye for the things he said. And I thought that was really interesting. Who knew, right? Who knew? I'm gonna have to watch more documentaries to find out about all these people, right? Because at the end of the day, we're all human beings. What we want is for people to get along and to love one another, as Jesus said, right? And the best way to do it is for humans just to get to know one another. Let's not do it in the political realm, right? When you force people through the law or through anything, manipulation, all right, or through violence, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. But I think it's important that we do go out of our way to meet people that might disagree and just get to know one another and to appreciate one another as human beings. I think that would be the best thing. Just follow the words of Christ. All right, Jesus is awesome, and what he preached about was not political, not religious at all. He's talking about everyday life, loving God, loving your neighbor as yourself. For love fulfills all law, right? If you love, you're with God, and you know God because God is love. What else do you need to know, right? Anyway, I hope the best for the president and also for Kanye and his move to Chicago. I hope he does wonderful things there. All right, thanks for joining me today. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.